hello there. How are you all doing? As you can see, I've set my camera up. However, I've got a different, I've got a new power board. Well, actually, it's not necessarily new. I bought it 18 months ago, but it's not been used until this week. And because when I see stuff at Bunnings that's marked down from, you know, if it was $57 and it's marked down to $3, and it's something I think I might use down the track, I'll buy it. And in this case, it was a power board. But anyway, I digress. What I was trying to say is I've got a new power board connected to the phone today, and it's very heavy. And because it's not quite long enough to reach to here from the power point, it's sort of suspended. So it's wanting to pull the phone stand over. And I've just got set up and started, as you can see, and Willow's decided she wants to go inside, which is really odd because normally when I'm out here doing this, she wants to sit out in the sunshine with me. Come and sit on the lawn, sweet pea. It's outside time. It's been raining for weeks and you haven't had... Yeah, that's a good girl. Okay, now let's get back to this. I haven't been on here for ages, as most of you know. And I apologise. Life's been mental crazy. It's just full on. As it does, you know. We all have those times, don't we? I've been sick again, but this time... Yeah, as most of you know, I've had ongoing dental issues. I've been having work done on my mouth for, ongoing for at least the last 18 months. And I go at the moment every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what I've had done. And the dentist I'm seeing at the moment, I've been really happy with because he's given me time to heal in between procedures, and you know, I'm having a lot of really full-on stuff done, pretty much having my whole mouth reconstructed, and he's given me time to have a break in between, which is good for me in a lot of ways because I'm not getting as traumatized. However, teeth that need work done quite, well, I think urgently, aren't getting done. So that means I currently have infection and I can't get back in to see him until the end of September. So even though I rang yesterday saying I'm really sick, I've been sick for almost a week, it's getting worse, my face is swelling, I know it's infected, my lymph nodes are up, you know, blah blah blah, as you do. They still couldn't get me in, apparently. So I rang my GP to see if I could get some antibiotics, and he's done that for me, thank goodness. So I don't know if antibiotics work this fast. Maybe it was just a placebo, but I took one last night, and within an hour I was getting some relief from that pressure in my face. So anyway, that has meant that my getting the linens out this week hasn't been as efficient as I had hoped, and I haven't been in the right head capacity to do any stitching. So yesterday I was at the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I wasn't doing well. I had a fever. I was really nauseous. If I stood up or moved too quickly, I'd hit the deck. You know, it was just a bit crook. So I was watching YouTube videos, and I went back to watching Kate in the Nest. Sorry, Willow's pulling on her runner a bit harder than she should. I think she wants to go to the loo. I think I've told you guys my fence is down. I need to get it fixed, so that means she can't run around in the yard at the moment. So she's on a runner. But anyway, I've been watching Kate's videos, and she did one that caught my eye. It wasn't even yesterday, well, it probably was about 2 o'clock yesterday morning. Was one that she was doing out of here, this is Fleur's book, Fleur Wood's beautiful book. I've spoken about it before, and I did mention I was a little bit disappointed with it, that because I thought there'd be more instructional tutorials in here. However, I think I need to take that back, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful book, I love it, and you can probably see it's already looking a little, not dog-eared, but a little, I probably should wrap it in, what's that, thick, not sticky contact, you know, heavy plastic to protect it, because I've been taking it with me if I go anywhere. I've been reading it a lot, looking at it a lot. The reason I'm saying I might need to take that back is because after watching Kate's videos, she's looking at this a whole different way to what I did. So I looked at it as a book, thinking that, you know, as I said, I was expecting it to have tutorials or instructional bits in it. Kate's looking at it in a very different way, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to articulate what I mean. Let's see if I can find the page here. So Kate's looked at this page, for example. This is the one I'm working on at the moment. And she's read this, you know, a soft palette. Okay, I've studied art, and, you know, I used to teach art. I worked in an art studio for years. So I understand about palettes and complementary and all this sort of stuff. But what I'm a bit surprised with, not surprised, that's not the right word. Okay, let me try again. Kate went through this, and she looked at it as in, okay, she's using this as a prompt. I guess that's probably the best way to describe it. And I never thought of doing that before, just this double spread. So, and Kate did mention that she's learning from this. And she's looked at this page, and look, I've read this book cover to cover so many times it's not funny. I could almost recite it word for word. No, that's an exaggeration. But I've read it many times, and I've looked at the images many times. But what Kate's done is she's read this as a soft palette, okay? So soft is gentle, subtle, whimsical, and light. Okay, I think we all get that. And there's images here of what Fleur has expressed as a soft palette in this instance. And then it's written on the back here, it's written ivory, linen, blush, cream, caramel, sand, mauve, lemonade, nude, and pearl. Okay, I get that. So Kate's, I think, more referred to the image than the words, as she went through the words, and did this beautiful, I can't remember what Kate calls them. I say this every time, I should write these things down, but when I get on here to do these videos, they don't go in the direction I think they're going to go. So anyway, Kate has done this set, I suppose, of needle books. I think Kate calls them something else though. But they're similar to the needle books I do in the sense that they've got pages and she stores the needles in them. So Kate's done a soft palette one, and then, I mean, I'm going back, so I think 7 months she did, 7 months ago she did the first one. And then she's done a warm palette, which is in these tones, which aren't, they're not normally colours I'm drawn to, but I'm really like, I hated yellow and orange. But I'm starting to learn to appreciate them. It's only taken me half a century, but anyway, we won't go there. And then she's done a cool palette needlebook using these colours. And then she's done a greens. And she's done a pinks. I don't think I've seen her do a neutrals. I'll have to go back and have a look. Or earthy. I wonder if she's done them. I didn't see those out. I'll have to go back and have a look. So, now that I've gone that far ahead, I didn't jump that far ahead yesterday. I may have jumped the gun a bit with my palette. So, while I was in bed yesterday, languishing, that's very dramatic, isn't it? I was going a bit batty, just laying there. I couldn't sleep because I was, you know, the migraine and the nausea and the joint pain and the tossing and turning and the swollen face and the throbbing teeth, and I thought I had to do something. So I got out some of the things I've been working on, and I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't do the stitches. I couldn't. I'm realising since doing this trying to do this Kate technique, I'm realising that a lot of the stuff that I do is quite more focused than what I realised, I suppose. That's probably the best description. So when I saw Kate's videos and the way she embellishes her textiles, her collage pieces, I thought I'll give that a go, because, you know, Kate says this is a quick little project, and Kate pretty much finishes a cover of one of her needlebooks within an hour, you know. So then I'll do that. I'll give that a go. There's raw edges, which I like. I'm drawn to that. But I've realised another thing about that as well. I'm drawn to the raw edges and the rustic look only in certain instances. So when I make my textile journals, the mini journals I used to make that I haven't done for a while, that was all, and I really had to push outside my comfort zone to make those. I learnt that in learnt how to do those in the Ugly Art Club, pretty much, and from Colleen Atara. So I got right into that. Loved that. I got right out of my comfort zone. I was doing raw edges, very rustic looking journals and things. But then I've reined myself back in, I think. I don't know if it was deliberate or not. I'm not aware, or not deliberate. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with words still. I've still got a pounding head. I'm not sure if it was a conscious decision to rein myself back in, but I've realised that the work I'm doing now with the textiles is still very structured, especially when I try to do a similar technique to what Kate does. So after saying all that, I got out some bits of wool yesterday from one of the kits that I had there that I sell, the wool blanketing pieces, and decided to do a soft palette needlebook in Kate style. So I managed to pull a few textiles together, and this is some of them here. You know, I've tried to do the soft palette, and looking at it now, I think I've chosen more neutrals than soft. It's mainly laces that I've pulled. The only real colour I've got, there's a bit of blush in here. I don't know if you'd call that blush or champagne. There's a little bit of mauve that I thought I'd pop in it. And I've also been using, the main colour is coming from a piece of vintage linen I've been using, I think, which is not what I was originally going to do. So it's sort of just morphed as I went along, as they do. But as I said, I don't even know how to explain this. Maybe I should just show you. This is my attempt at doing a Kate Kate Koonich style needlebook cover. I started with my wool base, and Madam's got to this. It's got dog hair on it. I try so hard to keep these away from dog hair. Started with my wool base, then I covered it completely with a piece of vintage silk I had, which is here, an old scarf. And the reason I use this is because it's got moth holes and it's deteriorating. See, there's quite a few moth holes in it. Yeah, look at that. So I cut a chunk out of that and applied that to the whole front of the piece of wool. And I was just going to tear and bits like Kate does and whack them on. So I did the silk, and then I thought, oh, the silk threads, the raw silk edges are fraying and they're, you know, running and pulling out everywhere. And so I decided to stitch down the edges. And the whole time I'm telling myself just to do big stitches, just to, you know, it's rustic. We don't want, they've ended up being quite tiny. Not as tiny as I normally do, but they're like, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch apart. So I've pretty much, not basted, I've stitched it all down, stitched the silk all down to the wool. I thought, oh, I'm really happy with that. I want to show off the silk. This is good. And then I decided to I'd just put bits of lace on, you know, bits of crochet and bits of lace and texturize it up a bit. As you can see, there's not much silk visible. So I thought if I put lace on, you can still see the silk, right? But then I ended up with other bits and pieces. I love this bit, these sequins. And then this linen just sort of all goes in so well with that, doesn't it? And then, I don't know why I popped that in there. I just felt it needed a bit of balance. And obviously these are all still pinned on. So if we close it up, however, you might have noticed I really struggled with leaving the raw edges. So I thought I'd needle turn them, and then that just did my head in. I couldn't concentrate enough to do that while I had a migraine and nausea and vomiting and all that sort of stuff. So I've ended up I've stitched around all this flower on all the outlines, all around here. I haven't done the petals down here. I'm trying to stop myself from doing so much detail. I'll tell you why in a minute. So I've ended up blanket stitching all the way around the outline, so then I can cut it up real close and not have bits fall out everywhere. So as you can see, I've done this flower, I've done this flower, I've started this leaf and this flower, and that's as far as I've got. I've also done bits of, you can see up here, I've got different bits. I need to stitch that bit together because it's just going to keep falling out. Reclaimed bits of crocheted edge. These are bits and in my box of tricks. Not that there's many bits left at the moment. And bits, just, you know, just bits of the Point de Venise lace. Another bit here. So I've just, I don't know, I've got this thing about having lacy edges on my needlebooks. You might notice a lot of my quilted ones, or the ones that I learnt from Beck of So Be, I usually put reclaimed lace all around those. I'm just having some coffee, sorry guys. So the reason that I'm saying I really don't need to stitch all around this is because I want to do some thread painting. I haven't really had a good go on top of prints before. So that was my thought behind this. I'd like to do some thread painting on it. As you can see, you might see, I've got some more bits here. This was this piece and this piece. I bought a couple of things last weekend from the op shop, and these were tied. They had a bit of lace or shoelace or whatever tied around them, and these bits of lace were cut up and tied like this around, so they made a bit of a bow on top of whatever you were buying. So I've kept those because I thought I'll use those. They're still pretty cool. So I was originally planning on putting this piece on here, but it doesn't look too bad now that I've got that down there. It balances quite well, doesn't it? I quite like that now. I did it in reverse, see? I tried to lay that down first and it just wasn't working. It was just too heavy. I don't mind it now. Anyway, too late now. I've got all these other bits in there. So I've still got those bits I can use inside the book. And I've got this, I don't know if see, this is deteriorated. So originally I was thinking of stitching that on here, but that's gone by the by. Then I've got, these were given to me like this. A friend gave them to me the other day. So they've already been cut. I'm assuming someone was planning on using these for bunting. So they've all been cut in half already. I like this one. This is my favourite one. Little linen one. They're all linen actually, I think. So I've got these that I could potentially use in this needle book. I've got, I pulled this, I don't know if this will work, but isn't it beautiful? Don't know if that'd make a nice page. That's what I was thinking. If there's no lining in there, that'll bug me. It needs to be finished first. So I thought that'd make a nice page in there. Apart from that, I don't have a lot else for this. I've got bits of more crochet edge, reclaimed crochet edge, bits of lace. This is a brooch I made years ago, years and years and years ago. And I pulled that out because I thought I could put it on here, but I don't think I like it now. It doesn't really have a place, does it? It just doesn't quite work. So maybe for another project. Got little bits of cream wool I might be able to use in there, bits of vintage lace. See, originally I was planning on putting this on the back, a bit like that, and then this bit on it somehow. Maybe I can use those inside it. So I got those bits. Just got this one's unraveling. These have come out of, this was out of an old basket of my grandmother's actually, this one. An old picnic basket that she had her needlework and crochet in. Another medallion that might be useful. Little doily. You okay, bud? She's been very quiet, she's lying on the lawn. This one, I thought I might be able to use this. This sort of looked a bit good. Part of it, you know, sort of, yeah, I don't know now. That's where I was thinking of that one. I've got this little hexy flower. Bit of this business, a linen napkin that I thought might be a good page in it. I pulled this accidentally. I don't think I want to use that one yet in this project. Just see, this is deteriorated, but I thought it would be good for a, you know, texture to stitch on the front. But I think the front's, when I've finished the needle thread painting, is that what it's called? I've lost my train of thought. That motorbike's taken my focus at the moment. Another medallion, crocheted medallion. This is one I think, oh, this one might be from Nairi. I thought that'd make a good pocket in there. How's that one? I thought this might go on here maybe, somewhere, maybe, don't know yet. And then of course this mauve one, but oh, there's mauvey tones in there. Might work. Pulled these bits before I remembered what they were. They're two vintage collars and I just don't think I'm ready to use them on this bit yet. More bits of lace, cotton lace, there's a bit more of that sequin stuff. So, and I've pulled some fabrics for this one too. Where are they? Over here. Another bit of wool. Got another bit up there too. Different colour, different creamy colour. Got a piece of this Laura Ashley, which might be a bit too yellow, but I thought that might be good for a page in there or something. Maybe the lining, I don't know yet. So that one. Of course that bit of silk. I pull these inside and the light inside is really crap, so when I come outside and have another look I think, oh gosh, that won't work. I'm dropping bits now. This is another bit I thought might work, but I think it's a bit too candy pink compared to the rest of it. I pulled this to use in it, but it's too white, so I think I might save that for another one. It's got, I don't know if you can see, it's cherries. I think they're cherries. They might be blueberries. There's a bow up there, I think. It's not that bit. And then again, I've got bits. These are from my cutter box because they're really quite damaged, but there's still parts of them that I thought were still quite good for projects. That was, that had that crochet attached to it. That bit of drill, that was from a tablecloth. Another doily that might be usable. Another one. A bit of lace. I'm not fussed on this shiny lace though. I go for more matte cotton, linen, silky sort of. I think this is the last of my cream suiting, but that might be good for a page. I've got, this is the wrong, yeah, I think that's more in the, what colour tone was that? The one I said I didn't like normally. The warm, that's more in the warm range, that one. So's that Laura Ashley, I think. So warm's got coral, mustard, butter, sunflower gold, amber, ginger, tangerine, rust and honey. So that's, yeah, they're more in the warm palette, I think. So we'll put that one aside. This is the reclaimed linen I used on the front, so I've still got a bit of that left. I've got this beautiful lace, which again isn't normally the lace I'm drawn to, and neither is this. I think this is a bit from Nairi too, but I have used that on the front, or on the back now, because that's that blush colour again. I've got this little bit of fabric I've had from years, from when I was in the quilt store, so that might be nice inside. It smells really good, that one. I must have washed it recently. Another piece of that funny, I don't even know what this is called, very pretty lace though. Might save that for another one, or a kit. I put a bit in a kit this week, I think. This is that fabric I've used down here. I think it's a Japanese one. I can't remember now. Again, that was from when I was working in the quilt shop. Very pretty fabric. I've got another one in there that went with that, but it's more of a textured. It's sort of got the browns and golds, like a cocoa with gold, I wouldn't say stripes, texture. This one here, this is more in those, the last palette again that I was talking about with the oranges and yellows and that. But I actually used one of these flowers, or I haven't applied it yet, but this flower here is from that fabric. So yeah, I've used a bit of that in it already. Oh, here's that one I was talking about that goes with that one. So I could potentially use some of that inside it, I suppose. I've held on to these for years. Must be at least 15 years. Might be longer. Be longer than that. Holy cow, that time's gone, hasn't it? And then of course this one, which again I think leans more into these, the spring colours, whatever, the oranges and that. And then I've got this beautiful bit of Robin Pandolph that I wanted to add, but I'm not entirely convinced it's the right tones. But anyway, there's that. I've also pulled, now this was me, this was while I was sick yesterday. I got a bit hyper-focused on it, I think. So I'm just moving this out of the way so we can see a bit more clearly. Put it on the shelf down here. Oops, I've just dropped all the bits of lace. Maybe I should just put them up there on that shelf for now. Or I'm going to end up with bits everywhere. I do have tubs, but they're all full. I need to get a bit more organised, don't I? Oh, big stretch, guys, sorry. So, as I was saying, I've also pulled some to do a blue one. And again, this is just a starting. So I've got this little bit. I like this. Like, I see Kate use this, and when I first saw her use the tassels, I thought, oh my gosh, I would never have thought of doing that. Sorry, there's someone walking past and she didn't lose a noodle. She's a very good girl. Good girl, Buggy. So yeah, I've got this one, it's only little, as you can see, which might not be a bad thing because then I won't be able to spend a ridiculous amount of time on it when I've got so many other projects that really should have priority. Or I've got this one. So I've pulled those bits out of one of the kits that I had made up. Got this little blue flower. And then there's little pink ones on the other side that I could use in the pink palette. Someone spilt nail polish or something on that. That's why this one was deconstructed, I think. Surely I've got more blue fabrics. That's more aqua. Anyway, I pulled that one. Little blue dot. I picked this bit up because I thought maybe I could use that flower somewhere. This is a bit of leftover napkin that I used in another needle book. So that's the piece I What did I use that on? I can't remember now. Oh, the zippered pouch I did recently, I think. The kit I bought from Beck. Did I use it on that? Oh, God, no, I can't remember. I've used it on something, obviously. So got a bit of that left that I could use in it. That'd look good in that light blue one, wouldn't it? Then I pulled this. I try to stay with Vintagetextiles. So this is an older one. Obviously they're not vintage. And then I've pulled, I don't have much here at all. I pulled this that I thought I might be able to harvest, this blue flower, and then I could potentially use that one in the orange one, couldn't I? I've got this little, I mean they're not blue, but that'd work. Hexagons, a vintage puff, and very pretty. These are just stuff I've had here. I don't go out buying things for these projects. Oh, here's another one, Suffolk puff that I had there with that one. I've also pulled for a purple one. I'd like to do a purple one. I don't have purple wool for my base, so I do actually, but I don't want to use it for this because it's a really fine wool. I don't have much left, so I might just use a plain colour because I seem to be covering it all anyway. So these are bits, and I don't know if I'm going to use all these, but these are bits I've pulled so far for a purple one. Doesn't really fit in with the, it'd be in the cools, but technically it's not a cool palette. Well, I suppose it is. That's a lot of mauves, and there's not really, there's sort of indigo. What's written on it? Denim, cobalt, so they're both blue. Turquoise is blue. Oh, turquoise where? Cornflower's blue and navy's blue. Then we've got aqua, sky blue, lilac, azure and baby blue. So there's only really one there that's in the mauve colour range, isn't there? I know, baby, I love you too. She's just stuck her head under my arm. Why are you dribbling? You're stressing out about something. Why have you got a big... That's gross. Let me wipe your face. Oh, yucky. Crying out loud. Didn't want that on my leg, darling. You're a big gooby booby. Look, you got another one on the other side. Let me find another bit of... I had a bit of paper towel there. I don't want it on my textiles, baby. Get out of there, please. Out of the textile bag. Oh, goodness, bugger lugs. I just threw that piece of paper over there where I can't reach it. And you're covered in... Is there a bit up there? No. What are you stressing about, you big gooby booby? It's okay, baby. Lay down in the sun for a while. You like the sun? Don't flick your goobies on me. I don't know if you all know, Willow's a Great Dane, and Great Danes have this tendency to drool, and it's not just, it's slimy and thick and it's gross, and they flick their heads to get it off, so drool goes flying everywhere. It's just gross. It's just, I try and wipe it. I usually carry wipes with me, or a paper towel or a hand towel or something, but I didn't bring one out here because she usually only does it like this when she's stressed about something. But anyway, so these are some bits I've pulled to do a purple one. This is probably more blues, but that's okay. There's some purple in there. There's some mauve purple ones up here. Got this tiny little bit. This came in a scrap pack. That's all I got. Don't know if that would work, but I've got that tiny little bit. This bit of vintage Sheridan. Look at that. Got a bit of that. These little old ditzy florals that look like they might be from the 80s. Got that one and that one. I've got this doily. Now this one I kept in my stash because it's got a yucky big stain there that I couldn't move. Then I've got, I don't know what the hell that truck's doing. My neighbour's getting a delivery, that's okay, that's the nice neighbours. I won't get frustrated with that. This old hanky was my great uncle's and it's torn. So I thought it might be nice to use some of that in it. I've got this bit of, I don't have much of this left. I used to do a lot of my own fabric dyeing. So I haven't done it for ages. I need to try and pull my dyes out. I actually went to buy some more from the lady I used to buy them from, and she's closing down and I'm very sad. And she doesn't have much stock left, and her dyes are the best I've ever used. They've got no fillers in them. Anyway, I pulled that bit. This is a bit, this came in something my friend gave me the other day. That's all there was. So I pulled that bit. This little, I don't have a lot for this one, but that's another bit that my friend gave me. That's all there was. I've got a couple of hexagons. Aren't they cute? And then this, I got this from, oh no, this is from harvested from a tablecloth, like that. And then this one was from, I think I bought from Nairi recently, but it's got some holes in it, so I thought I might be able to harvest that. Some beautiful bits on that. Bit of a hole up there, but yeah, lovely. So that's the one I've pulled for the purple, and then I've pulled some for a pink one, and I think that's all I've done for these. And that's more than enough, because either I'll put all that stuff back away and never look at it again for this, or I'll start them all and not finish them. I've got a bad habit of doing that too. Sorry, I was just trying to reach a bit I dropped on the ground. I had to turn into a pretzel to reach it. It's another couple of bits I've dyed. I just saw another bit. Oh, this bit, another bit. So they might be good. They're the purples, obviously. So the pink, again, I don't seem to have a lot. I've got a bit of this. I don't have much of this left, so it's not a great deal of pink on it. This little vintage, I love this. I don't have much of this one left at all. That's one of my favourite fabrics. Got a little bit of this left, but that's a bit too warm, I think, for this. Look at this. Oh, that bloody truck. So I've got this, and I only had a little bit of this too. But isn't that sweet? Look at that. Kittens and a little mouse. Little mice here with the mushrooms. So I've got a bit of that might work. This one's not, I don't think it's so much vintage. It came in a scrap pack I bought recently, but that's a bit cute. That's got a pink, pale pink background. This is another little bit that came in a scrap pack. This is all I got. So got those, bit of pink rickrack. These are a bit candy pink compared to the rest of it. Suffolk puff. I've been making puffs with vintage fabrics. I've got a jar there mixed in with my ones from the 20s and 30s. But I decided the other day to try making some from some old lace from the 80s, and I'm quite happy with how they've come out. I've got some pink and some blue. And then of course one of my pink crocheted flowers. Could use that. I think this is from one I bought from Nairi recently, but I've harvested that from, look at that, isn't it gorgeous? Very pretty. And this is from another one There's a pink one on this side. So I don't know if I'll use that, because that could go in, that could be a whole page or pocket in something else. These are harvested bits again. A different coloured pink one. Different shades of pink. And then this. So that's what I've pulled for pink. But again, as I explained, I'm really struggling to do the cape technique. I just can't. It's not that I can't get my head around it. Well, it probably is actually. I've watched video after video after video and I still can't seem to get... I don't know if it's just because I'm too controlling or too much perfectionist, but I don't know. I'm just struggling with it. I've dragged so many things out here to show you guys, but it's probably a bit of overkill, to be honest. I suppose I could show you some of the new Suffolk puffs I got from Nairi last week. They're very old, they're gorgeous. This is one of them. Sort of interesting, I've got a jar here and I know which ones I got from Nairi, which ones I got from Beck and which ones I've made. This is another one from Nairi. This one. I'm very precious about these vintage ones because I either find them difficult to get or way beyond my budget. So the ones I do end up with, I covet like a, I don't know, something protecting their stash. What sort of animals protect their stash of? This one's pretty. Probably should look on the back. Most of these are going to be feed sack, I'd imagine, because that's how old they are. Here's another one from Nairi. This one's really cool. It's got a watermark on it. I love that. When I was doing my little mini journals, textile journals, they were mixed media really. I used to always look for stained and rusty and torn and damaged textiles to use in my work, and it doesn't seem to work as well necessarily in these textile collages. So there's another one. This is another one from Nairi. Some of these are just gorgeous. Look at this one. Look at that. How cool is that? Didn't look at the back of that one. Look at that little... Look at that. Look at that. You're going to get sick of me saying that. These ones are from Beck. Bought these from Beck ages ago. That's one of the ones I made. This is a Nairi one. How cute is that? Look at that. That's a very similar print to that modern one that I've got. Where did I put it? Bear with me. Is that it? No. That's not it. Is it in the pink one? Where did I put those? No, is it in the blue one? I know I've got one here. Blue ones. This one, is that it? Yeah, look. Okay. So this is a vintage. This would be feed sack, I'd imagine. This is from the 20s or 30s. And this is a more modern one that I bought recently, which is supposed to replicate the feed sack prints. I've actually got this in a similar coloured green too. But that's a very similar print, isn't it? How about that? That was cool. Just dawned on me, sorry, as I'm going through there. Where's another one? Okay, these are the ones that I've been doing. They're out of shot. So these are ones I've been cutting You may have seen over on my Instagram, I've been doing packs of hand-cut circles. So I've been doing some to show what they look like, and these are the ones I've been doing. These are more Beck ones. These are from Nairi. That's another Nairi one. That one's pretty cool. How cool are those flowers? They're very Art Deco, aren't they? Sorry, I'm tilting it towards me instead of you. So they're pretty cool. We didn't look at the back of these ones, did we? Oh, stars, look at that. How cool is that bit? It's got a seam down the centre. I love that. Okay, they're all ones I've done. Try and get them in the shot so you can see. There's another Nairi one. They're all ones I've done. Now, most of the ones I've done, except for that one, they're all vintage fabrics that I've used. These are from Nairi. Look at these ones. Let's have a look at the back. Oh, how cool are they? There's some cute little flowers. Look how faded they are. Aren't they fabulous? I love them. That's another Nairi one. Oh, look at that. I feel like I want to design replica vintage fabrics. That's a Beck one. That's a Nairi one. You okay, babe? It's a Nairi one. Are you getting sick of looking at these? Let me know if you are. Get your nose out of my puffs, you bug. That's a Beck one. She just walked straight up and shoved her nose in that coffee jar then. That's a Nairi one. Oh, aren't they different compared to what I've been showing you anyway? They remind me a bit of shirts my grandfather used to wear, those prints. It's another Nairi one. Is it too hot out there or something? You normally love playing out there, darling. It's another Nairi one. I've just got a big slime trail wiped across my leg now. You're so helpful, baby. It's another Nairi one. Another Nairi one. Oh look, they're the same. I didn't notice that. They're mine. Ones I've been doing. They're ones I've been doing. That one. That's a Beck one. That's a Nairi one. That's a Beck one. That's pretty, that one. That's a Nairi one. That's a Nairi one. Nairi. Beck. That's a Beck one. That one's cool. I don't think I've got that many left, guys. That's a Beck one. That's a Nairi one. That's a Nairi one. That's a Nairi one. That's me. That's a Nairi one, I think. These are Beck ones. These are Beck ones. I love the colour. I love this one. I think I've already showed you one. These two here with the mauves. They're different prints, but they're some of my favourites, those two. I've been hanging on to those. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? Love them. And then these ones from Nairi. I love these two. Look at, they're huge. Imagine that in a quilt. How cool would that have been? There's that mauve again. Can you tell mauves and purples are my favourite colours? Oh, they're Nairis. Sorry, put them on the wrong pile. They're Beck ones. More Beck ones. They're all mine. That's a Nairi. That's a Nairi. That's one of mine. They're Beck. They're Beck ones. They're Beck ones. They're Beck ones. These are Beck ones. And guess what? We're at the bottom of the jar. And there's one Nairi one left. And then there are the ones I've been doing out of vintage fabrics. But how cool, I wanted to show you these. I was quite impressed with how they came out. These ones out of the old lace fabric, like, you know. They're a bit cool, aren't they? I thought they looked good. I've been using them. Okay, so let's put these back in the jar. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just look at these puffs because I love them. I get them out and have a look. I'd love to get my hands on more of those real old vintage, you know, like 1930 or earlier. I dropped one of mine, that can stay there for now. It's not a overly precious one. Now, what else was I going to show you guys? Again, as I said, I've got that many things out here. Oh, I remember. So, I haven't posted it all yet. I bought a vintage quilt recently. Actually, I bought two, and they're both the same. They're both matching. They're handmade. You can see they're completely handmade. They're hand-pieced. But in saying that, I want to say they're commercially manufactured. That's not correct. They had labels on them. So they had a brand on them. I can't remember what it was. But you can very clearly see they've been hand-pieced. They're very wonky when I've pulled them apart to have a look. So you can see this is all hand-stitched. There's no machine stitching happening there. And the quilting's all been done by hand. So there were two there in the op shop, and they weren't very expensive, so I bought them both thinking that I'd cut them up and make needle books with them and sell whatever I didn't use. I've started cutting up the first one, and I've got so many pieces and so much fabric, I don't think I'm even going to get to the second one. There's so much here. So I've been using some in some kits. Have I pulled one together to make yet? I don't think I have. So this is a piece that I've pre-cut. I thought that would be a good size for a needle book. Look at these stitches. Look, you can clearly see they're done by hand. So yeah, I was going to list these for sale, and then I thought I'd do kits, but I'm running out of fabrics and things to add to kits, so I might just sell some pieces. So if anyone's interested in some bits of vintage quilt to make some needle books, so that's a decent size, that one. This one's a bit smaller. They're not the prettiest colours, that's the other thing. I'm not in love with the colours, but if you can handle... I thought this was all navy, but I want to say now that these stripes are black, but out here in the daylight, you know, when you get that black and it gets worn out and it sort of looks more green, that's how that looks to me now. This background's navy, it's got green in it. This is navy, it's got, I want to say burgundy, but I think it's more of a pink, little green leaf, and there's little blue dots in between. We've got florals on here, florals up here, and then there's little ditzy florals over here as well. So there's still area you can embellish in the white bits if you wanted to. Most of them have got nice white, well, it's actually off-white cream. So they're all different sizes. It just depends what came out, because they're so wonky, and some bits are worn through. So they're not, you know, they're not recent new, even though I say they've got tags on them. They've got a bit of wear on them. Here's a bigger piece. I mean, in theory, you could cut that piece up and get two that size out of it if you didn't want them that big, or you could get four, you know, like there's another big piece. Here's another one. So these are bits I've already got pre-cut at the moment, so I might list those next week. I'm finished. This week's drop's finished. I was gonna clear it up before now. I've been slack. I've left it up a bit longer. So I don't know if I've explained. I don't know if you're even interested. I've worked out some different strategies when I do these Destash drops. So what I was doing was uploading the items, you know, washing them, laundering them, pressing them, starching them, doing all that, photographing them, uploading them, so you know the process. Uploading them to my Destash page, and then if they sold, I was leaving them there, and it got really messy. So once they sell now, I've been waiting to the end of the week, because when I was going through and commenting on them when they sold, I'd lose some of them, they'd disappear. So I worked out if I leave it to the end of the week, then I'll comment, take screenshots, and I send, if you buy from me, I send you off the screenshots. So one of the other ladies taught me this. I think it was Nairi, actually. Thank you very much for that, Nairi, because it's saved me so much. Get your gooby dribbles off me, darling, please. I know I love you too, but I don't want your dribbles in my textiles, sweetheart. I'm trying to keep them clean. Oh, goodness, baby. There's a bit of fabric I can wipe your face with. There's got to be a bit here. There's usually scrappy bits around. So yeah, I've gone through a series of steps and processes anyway. So I'm at the point now where I try and upload on the Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday. Ends up going through the day if I don't get it all uploaded. So then at the end of the week, I go through, send off your screenshots and whatever you've got. And then anything that hasn't sold, if I'm able to reduce it, I will reduce it. And I say if I'm able, I won't do it if I'm going to lose too much money on them. So I'll go through and reduce them. And if they don't sell by the weekend, I take everything down. And the reason I'm doing that is because if I leave them all there, what I found was happening was I'd do another drop and another drop and another drop, leave all those from each drop, and then someone might go through all the way back down to months ago and comment, and I wouldn't be able to find it. I'd see the comment come up, but I wouldn't be able to find it. Instagram does this weird stuff sometimes, and it makes them disappear. So people were missing out, and I couldn't keep track. So the best way for me to keep track of it is to delete them all at the end of each drop, and then upload new items again for the next drop, or sometimes I'll repeat them. Depends. Sometimes if they don't sell, they'll go into kits. But anyway, I just felt like I needed to explain that for some reason. Probably didn't need to, but there you go. I've also got some, this is something else I wanted to show you. I've got some handles, some vintage handles. and I'm thinking about putting these into kits. So I've only got a couple. So I've got two pairs of wooden handles, vintage wooden handles, and I'm still tossing up whether to keep one of these for myself. I don't know, I'm sure I don't need to. So yeah, my friend hung on to these for me. So I've got two of the wooden ones, and then I've got one of these beautiful bamboo ones that is, I've got another set of these inside that I've had for years. So this is why I'm passing this pair on, but these are my favourites. They're absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, you can unscrew the ends so you can thread your bag on when you make it, and then screw it back up. So I was going to do one of these in a kit as well, and these are beautiful as well, but they're different. So they've got hooks on them. So they're still genuine vintage bag handles, but they're just set up differently. So yeah, I was going to put those in a kit as well. So there's potentially four bag kits coming up. I'm just waiting to dig up some more vintage fabrics to add with them. My coffee's gone nice and cold. I did get some fabrics a couple of weeks ago from, I might get this wrong, I think it's the Vintage Linen Press, which I was pretty chuffed about. I think most of those I'll keep for my own use. I only got four. There's only four fabrics. I don't have, oh, I've got -0 budget actually. I got these, so I've been wanting to do some fleur style, which is one of the reasons why I bought the book. I've been wanting to do some of this sort of stitching. I've been wanting to do it for quite some time now, since I first came across fleur, 2 or 3 years ago. So I've been looking out for fabrics I could use. Just looking for an example. Look at that needle weaving, that weave stitch. Oh, sorry guys, it's not even in the bloody frame. Look at that, isn't that exquisite? Wowzers. So I've been keeping an eye out for... I'll get there. Oh, I want to give this a go too, this fabric painting. I've done fabric painting before, but with watercolours, but not quite like that. So I've kept a couple of pieces of linen I'd like to have a go with. Are you stressing out about those bikes, baby? Is that your issue? Because you're just not relaxing out here today, are you? Poor little chicken. Hang on a minute, I'll let you inside in a sec. I don't know what it's like where you live, but we've got a, I don't know what you call it, an influx of unregistered motorcycles around at the moment. My son actually showed me some things recently, which has really unsettled me, that they're, it's not going to be the correct word, but it's probably the best way to describe it. There are big gangs of them in the area, and they get together in these meets, and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. So yeah, it's getting a bit crazy here, and Willow's not coping with it. I'm just going to let her inside, guys. I won't be a minute. Hang on, baby. There you go. There you go. Good girl. So yeah, there's been twice in the last 2 weeks. Now, I usually only go out in the car once a week. I go and do the mail and go to a meeting often once a week. The last 2 times I've been out, I've come head on with one of these unregistered motorcycles, doing a mono down the main road, on the wrong side of the road, coming straight towards me. And it's not a nice feeling. But anyway, I digress once again. So I've been trying to keep an eye out for fabrics like, I mean, if you're familiar with Fleur's work, you'd probably know what I mean. You know, the floral ones. And of course I can't find any examples, can I? Yeah, that's more embroidered than the colours and the images and this is a beautiful book. It really is. And I probably should look after it much better than I do. But I love it that much. I just carry it around with me, and I've read it, like I said, again and again and again and again. And you know what? It doesn't look like there's going to be any in here. Maybe I've only seen them on her Instagram. So what I'm trying to say is I've seen Fleur and who else? Well, Kate's another one. See here, there's a base fabric, floral fabric, and she's thread painted. So I've been trying to find fabrics like that I can use, but I've been focusing on vintage fabrics. So I don't have many, if any, that I can actually use. But more recently I'm starting to think, do they need to be vintage if I'm going to stitch over them and you're not actually going to see the fabric? I still can't really find any. No, they're drawings. Well, there you go. There doesn't appear to really be any in there. But anyway, I've been trying, like this for example. So this linen, this reclaimed linen, this was a curtain. So I'm going to try and use this to do some thread painting. And I've already got stranded cottons. I've got 3 or 4 boxes of them. And I've got a couple of tins as well. So I'm not short of stranded cottons. And I've got some beautiful fine 2-ply wool. So I've got quite a bit of that. Not necessarily in the colours I want though, unfortunately. I'd like to get some more variegated gum nuts and whatnot, but these are just ones I've had for years. So as I said, I'm not going out and buying stuff if I don't have to. But when I called in to visit my girlfriend the other day, I think I've told you before, she's got I want to say vintage shop. It's not a vintage shop. It's called, far out, I can't remember the name of it now. Isn't that ridiculous? I did this the other day. Do you know how many times I've been there? And I actually used to teach classes there, and it's completely gone from my mind. So I'm just Googling it on my other phone. It's another thing I was going to tell you. I recently bought a very cheap, as my kids say, burner phone, because I still haven't replaced my good phone that died, that I had for 6 years. So I bought this cheap phone, and I mainly bought it to make a phone call. I had to make a phone call to my energy company, actually. It was the only way I could contact them. So I bought this cheap burner phone to do that, and it's crap. I used it last week or the week before to record a YouTube video, and you can't hear the sound. The image is garbage. So I'm currently using an old phone of my son's that's broken to do this today. At least you should be able to hear me. And yeah, it turns out I'm stupid. Not stupid. I shouldn't call myself stupid. I didn't research it well because it wasn't a priority. It was just a burner phone that I could use to make a phone call. You know, I thought I'd just buy this prepaid phone. In my mind, it was going to be cheap, one and done sort of thing. As I said, I still haven't got the money to upgrade to... I've always had really good phones since I started work years ago. Like when mobile phones first came out, I had top of the range from day one. And since my last good phone died, I haven't been able to replace it. So this cheap one I've got, in the meantime, I didn't realise that the telco that I'm with, even though it's prepaid, there's not a huge amount of choice. Like, you've got to give them your credit card details so they can debit money every month to put credit on the phone. It turns out it's going to cost me just as much to do that than it is to upgrade my bloody phone. So I'm going to try and upgrade in the next week or so, hopefully. But anyway, this is my friend's shop that I go to, and she'll sometimes save me some bits that she knows I'm looking for. So it's the Maker's Place, Hunter region. It's absolutely fabulous. And that's what I was getting to. When I've been thinking about doing these Fleur Woods style stitcheries, I've been thinking the whole time, I don't have any seed beads anymore. I gave them all away years ago. I used to do, remember you'd used to knit, you'd get the porcelain dolls and you'd knit the skirts with the beads and you'd make the little knitted purses, and I used to do all that sort of stuff. And when I went back to work years ago after illness, I gave it all away. So I didn't have any. But when I walked in to visit my girlfriend the other day, she had all these beautiful check seed beads and Mill Hill seed beads. So I bought nearly all of what she had. So I'm excited to be able to use those to do some of this stitching. But I also wanted to show you my cousin's shop. Actually, she's my second cousin, but I call her my cousin. Now I can't remember the name of it. Okay, it's just come to me. Now, sometimes I get some stuff from her shop. Haven't been there for a while. I need to go back and visit again. So this is the name of her shop. She doesn't do online. Neither does Chris and Chris at the Maker's Place. They don't do online sales. You have to actually go into the shop, into the bricks and mortar shop. This place, Former Glory Emporium, is at West Wallsend, near Newcastle, sort of near Newcastle. And the Maker's Place is at Taralba, which is sort of near Newcastle as well. So there's that. That's where I source some of my stuff from sometimes. And of course, Chris knows what I like now, so she'll sometimes save some very yummy goodies for me, which is lovely. Only stuff she can't sell, she saves. She doesn't hide stuff from the rest of the public, if that makes sense. Now, in saying that, I finally got some. Now again, oh, here's some more beads I got from Chris. Oh. These are in with the beads, some snacks. Crikey. Hang on, bear with me. Where are they? I'm still digging, guys. They're still coming. I think that's it. Oh no. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so these beads also came. Now there were more of these there, but I thought I'm not going to use them all, so I just got one. Some beading needles. This pack. Now I picked this up. This pack. This was $2. It's very heavy, so see those grey ones? They're real freshwater pearls. So I thought that was a bargain just for them. Now I've bought them previously in jewellery making and I've paid a lot more. Oh yeah, I'm actually a silversmith as well, so I've bought those before, so that bag was worth it just for them. But I don't think any of the others are pearls, but I think they're glass because they're so heavy. So they're older, I think. And I got these as well. Very Christmassy, but I thought they might have been a good quality bead because they're in these tubes, and when I googled them, they're quite expensive back in the day. Glass seed beads. So I got those as well. So I was stoked about that. I've got more than enough beads there to start some fleur wood style embroidery. And the fabrics. I've been collecting fabrics for ages. I'm still don't know if I've got what I need. Unfortunately, I think this is a bit of Sanderson, but I don't really have, like I've got that bloom in the corner there. I've got these ones. You know, there's not much on here. You know, I could potentially use those, I suppose. There are bits there that I could use, but that's all I've got. That's all there was. I've had that for, I think I got that from my aunt actually. This is a bit I got from, I think it was the vintage linen press. So I got this bit the other day. They're a bit big, so I don't know if I'll be able to use them. I mean, I'm sure I will at some stage, but it's not quite what I know I'll use it. It's very lovely fabric, don't get me wrong. This is another bit from her, vintage linen press. So they're lovely. Oh man, I don't know what she does, but they smell so good. I thought my linen smelled good, but these smell like lavender and something else. Every time I get them out, you get a whack of it. It smells so good. This is a recent purchase from Spotlight. I had to go up to Rutherford a fortnight ago to pick up my son's birthday present that I'd been saving for ages, years even. And I popped over to Spotlight. I think I had about $10 to my name. And I got a bit of this one and another one, this one. So I saw these blooms and thought, oh, maybe I could use those for the stitching. Look at that. I put some of this in a kit this week actually. So yeah, they're new, they're not vintage, but I thought I might be able to use those. And I think I only got 20 centimetres of each. There's not much there at all. I was surprised how cheap it was. This piece in my hand at the moment, I got from my aunt. I actually bought it from the nursing home. I have already sold a piece. I'm kicking myself now. I shouldn't have sold it. I hadn't thought about these stitcheries at that stage when I passed it on. But this is a piece of reclaimed linen from a lounge chair. And it's all I've got, but it's absolutely stunning. Look at that. So that's one of my unicorn pieces. I love it. and I want to do a piece with that. It's just divine. I haven't worked out how I'm going to do it yet. I think if I do a piece with this, it will be a wall hanging and it will be a keeper. I don't keep many pieces these days because I ended up with so many pieces. You couldn't move in here. I mean, you can't move in here again now because I've collected so many textiles over the years. It's okay, baby. It's up the road. So, yeah, this is one of my unicorn pieces. And I have seen other pieces the same online every now and then, but I've never got the money to buy them. So, yeah, this was pulled out. As some of you may know, I've been selling textiles for a local aged care facility for a while now, and there's not much left. You guys have done well. But this was one of the pieces that came out of there, and I straight away, as soon as I saw it, I handed the money over for it. Oh, I'd love to have that piece, please. That's mine. What else we got? The weather's suddenly turned, and it's going to pour down rain again any minute, I think. This is all I've got left of that. Remember this? I was selling some of this. I don't have much left, but I decided to keep a little bit. This is from the aged care facility. So I've paid for this piece, and I can't, was it the John Caldor? Can't remember now. Some of you have bought some of this anyway, and that's all I've got left of that one. So I hung on to a bit of that to use for myself. How did I have that folded? Oh, this is a piece of that. Oh, I was going to practice on this. It's got the needles in it. So that's a piece of that, one of those ones I bought from Spotlight a fortnight ago. So I was going to try and have a go at that. I'm hesitant to use the good wools I bought. So that's why that's still sitting like that. I've got this piece. This is just off a sample. See, it's got the holes. But yeah, I've got that. I think I got that from Chris's shop actually. Some time ago. So I've got that one. I've got these linens, but this is a Sanderson actually, this bit. They're just little bits. This one's not bad. There's a bloom there. There's some blossoms up here. I suppose there's some usable bits on there. But that's all I've got of that one. A bit of Sanderson. I love Sanderson. It's one of my favourite manufacturers of textiles actually. I love their designs. This is I think from memory, this is a Sanderson too. This is all I've got left of this. I'm kicking myself for not keeping more of it. It's a linen. So that's all there is. Just a bit like that. I think, did that come from Chris's or is that another bit out of the aged care facility? I can't remember now. I could go back through my records and have a look. This has been cut off, but this is about small little fat quarter. Don't know about this. I suppose there's blooms on there. There's flowers I could use, isn't there? Look at that one. That one's pretty cool. So here I am saying I don't have any fabrics I can use. I've got a few. A lot of these are upholstery fabrics, so I don't know if they're going to be a bit heavy, not needle friendly. This has got a bit cut out of it, but there's some lovely blooms on here that I could use. I think I've got what's it called? Not FOMO. I see other people with these exquisite textiles. I think, oh, I want to wait until I can get my hands on something like that. I think that's part of my problem. This is all I've got left. This is another one that came out of the aged care facility. The Karina. This is all I've got left of it. So I've bought a bit of this for myself. I thought I might be able to use these blooms to stitch. Oh, my head's starting to feel much better. Thank goodness. Now this is another sample piece. It's got the, what's it called, the overlooking in that. It's like fishing line. So yeah, it's quite an open weave, this one, compared to the others, but I still suppose I could still use it. It's probably better anyway for passing the thread than wool through, wouldn't it be? Gee, my English isn't great today, is it? This is a bit of, there's not much there that's usable, but this is a bit of, this is the same fabric. Another bit of Sanderson. And again, this is all I've got left of this. This came out of the aged care facility and I sold a lot of this on. This is all I've kept. So yeah, another Sanderson. I think another issue I have is I can't decide whether to stitch directly onto the textile or to do it onto a wool background, or to, you know, like use the whole piece and just back it with wool so you can't see the wool, or to stitch it onto the wool and then cut around it and then expose the wool. So that's what I'm struggling with. I've got this other beautiful piece of linen that I'm sure someone told me was Sanderson as well, but it's cut off. So all I've got, it's just, you know, barely a foot wide, if that. Beautiful fabric, but yeah, that looks lovely, but then it's chopped off. So that's all I've got. I suppose there's still some usable bits there, isn't there? That's another one. I think that might have come from Chris's. I can't remember. Here's another bit of linen. And I don't know what brand that is. It doesn't. That's been cut off too. Again, just this bit. That's all I've got. Yeah, I think I've actually got more here than I thought I had that I could potentially use. What's this one? This is the one I think I halved it and sold half recently, and I kept half. That's very pretty, isn't it? Don't know what that is. Another upholstery fabric. There's no, I might have a record of that. I think the half that I sold had it on, so I might have a record of what brand that was. Not that it matters. I just like the Sanderson. Now this one, this is the same print as this linen one. So this one here, which I was told was a Sanderson, but I don't know. Let's see what this one says. If it's the same. It's not written on there, it's cut off. That'd be right. So, I've got this linen one with that print, and then this is the same print. I know, when I've done reverse image search, it tells me it's Sanderson. So this is not linen. I don't know what you'd call it. It's a heavy upholstery fabric, and it looks like it's a reclaimed curtain, and that's all I've got of that bit too. So I found it interesting that they're the same print on different fabrics. Not that that's uncommon, but you know, it was interesting that I stumbled across the two of them. And then, is that the same? No, it is. Is that the same again? This linen one that I used on that needle book. No, it's not the same print. It's similar though. So that was reclaimed curtains as well. And then I've just got this little bit of, this is another bit of Sanderson. I sold most of this. I've just got a little bit of this left. That one's from 1993, Manor House. 1993, Arthur Sanderson and Sons. So got that bit. Lots of green on that one. That's it. That's the extent of my floral textile, vintage floral textile hoard that has a couple of rogue pieces that aren't vintage. But yeah, I'm constantly on the lookout at the moment for more vintage floral big blooms that I can stitch. Like I said, I'm either too slow or I'm just not financial, which is, you know, the old story, isn't it? I think we all have that happen, or most of us. Right. I haven't, if any of you are commenting, I apologise sincerely. I've been so focused on what I'm doing, I haven't been watching the screen. I've got a handful of kits there that I dug out again the other day. I've got some more lovely, I've got a handful, well, a few lovely vintage fabrics here, but I don't have a lot left. This is another one I got from the vintage. Now I might be wrong. Like I said, I want to say Vintage Linen Press. This was a piece she, and I'm sorry, I'm saying she, I can't remember your name, I'm so sorry. This is why I should write these things down. This, I believe, was reclaimed from an old doona, and one of the reasons I had to get this is because my great uncle had the same or very similar when I was a kid, and I remember sleeping out in his little, I don't know what you'd call it, used to be a greenhouse, and he converted it into like a little flat, but it was very open air. And I remember cuddling up under this duvet thing, and this piece of fabric brings back so many memories. That's why I had to get that, and I'm so chuffed. I saw it come up months ago and I missed out, and thank goodness she posted some more recently and I managed to get a bit, and I was just so chuffed. This is a little piece I got from Chris's recently, and this is all there is, but it's such a pretty little, look at that. It's a broderie anglaise, but look at that little mauve floral. I love that for some reason. I find, as I've said earlier, purple, mauve, lavender, lilac are my favourite colours, and then turquoise, teal is my next favourite colour. I find it very difficult to find vintage textiles in those colours, so if I do find them, I jump on them. This is another one I got recently. I think this was from, no, this might have been from the other place. So this is, I was going to say, it's almost like a voile, but it's not. It's a bit see-through, but it's a bit heavier than a voile, quite a bit heavier than a voile. Lovely little fabric, that one. What else is new? That's a new one, but it's a bit ordinary. This is a new one. I say new, it's vintage, but I love this one. I've been coveting this one, look at that. I thought that was a stain, but it's the shadow of the, So it's got strawberries and cherries and gingham and embroidery on glaze all in one. Isn't it divine? Yeah, I'm really coveting that one. I love that one. This is another new one that I found. I think this was from Chris's. Another one of my favourite ones I've left inside, I think. Yeah, I have. Here's another one. There's another one I've got inside, but it's got like a pale green background, but it's got purple, little ditzy purple flowers on it. I think I put some in a kit this week, actually. This is another new one. Tiny little rosebuds. Look at them, aren't they sweet? Probably don't want to see that one. That's about it really, the others aren't that exciting. I did find this beautiful piece of linen. Look at the colour. Isn't it gorgeous? I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I've got it's 1.4 metres by half a metre. Isn't that an interesting, must be an offcut if it's only half a metre wide. So yeah, I got that one too. That was from Chris's recently. I've got all these bags out here. So that's what I was going to show you that I haven't yet. I've got to put all those fabrics back in that box now. I have them all, I've been arranging them all very neatly, standing up so I can look over in the box and see them and pull them out. And I've just pulled half of them out, so I've got to spend the time to put all that back now. Now, geez, like I said, I got a lot today. I wasn't planning on going for this long. I have been doing some more work on my pot that I lost interest in, and now that I've put that up there, I don't like that green in it. I want to take that out now. Don't like that. So I've been working on this. I'd like to just get it finished. It's not one of my favourite things. I left this lace leaf hanging, but it just kept catching and drooping, so I've stitched it down, and I think I'm going to stitch that crocheted bit down too, because it's just not working for me. This poor thing, I've been carrying this around for so long trying to finish it that it's looking grubby. I'm going to have to give it a wash. I've only got this much to finish, and I'm really dragging the chain. I've just really lost interest with that one. So I have been doing little bits on it. The temperature's dropped by about 10 degrees now that the sun's gone. I've still been working on this jacket that I will be selling once it's completed. I just stuck a needle through my finger. Oh crap, that bit me. Oh, look at that. Isn't that interesting? All this clear liquid came out before the blood. Huh. Is that plasma? That's really interesting. How about that? I've never seen that happen before. Any of you nurses or phlebotomists or anyone out there that might know what that is? That was really interesting. Let me know. So this is the back piece. I think I've finished it. I might do a little bit more needle weaving. I've done some needle weaving, some needle, is that what it's called? Weave stitch to cover some holes, but I thought I'd sort of make a feature out of them. I've got to get those lines out. I think the back piece is finished. I think this breast piece is finished on the shoulder. I've finished around that pocket, I've finished around the collar, I've finished around that pocket. Now I've got to, what was I going to do next? I was going to put some crochet insertion bits around the cuff, and I was going to, I'm still tossing up whether to do that that feather stitch around the waistband. I don't think I will, I think it's going to be too much. And I'm going to Cassia, is it Cassia of, again, I should have written it down, Cassia Jacquot. I've gained a bit of inspiration from her when she was travelling in New Zealand recently. I had never even thought about doing the fly stitch around, so I've done that, which was thanks to her. And she also stitched some words on the inside of the piece she was working on. So I'm planning on doing that as well on the inside of the jacket. I thought that would be a nice little touch because I'm going to sell this piece. It doesn't fit me. It is a vintage piece. I believe it's from the 90s, so maybe a little bit earlier. So yeah, I'm still working on that one. Oh, I just found some clean napkins I could have wiped Missy's face with. Finally, I'm getting to this, and they've all just fallen out. Oh my goodness me. I'm having a day of it. Okay, let's get these little cherubs back in their little spot so I can show you. Now, I don't know how much you know about me, but I used to do, actually had a business doing hand-dyed wool years ago. And one of the reasons I stopped was because I was buying Australian grown wool. Now this is before all the ethical farming and, you know, came in and you could trace which animal it came from and all that. This is before then. So I was buying Australian grown wool. It was processed in, now I always get this wrong. It was scoured in either England or China, and then it was processed in the other country, and then it was sent back here. Because back then we didn't have, they were only just starting to form the community mills that I don't even know if they're still around. I read the other day that the mill in, is it Melbourne, closed down. There's only one left in Adelaide now. There's only one mill left in Australia. Isn't that one manufacturing big one? I've still got to check out and see whether, I know Nundle's still going, but I don't think they scour at Nundle. I think they only do the processing up there from memory. But anyway, I used to do my own, and my supplier stopped supplying and I could no longer get the fibres that I was getting. And to get the fibres I was using that were similar were way out of my price range and out of my customers. It would have put the finished product way too expensive. And I started buying from other Australian suppliers that were processed and manufactured in China, and the product was horrible. It had knots tied all through it. It had, so I just stopped. Unfortunately, I really enjoyed it, but there's probably the last 18 months, 2 years, I've been trying to get some from, where did I put that other one? I'm losing my mind now. That sawing in the background is really grating on me. I'm struggling to concentrate. So I have been trying to get some from little woolly makes, and I always miss out. But a couple of weeks ago I got some and I'm so excited about it. But in saying that, I got two. Look at that. I'm so excited. I've been coveting it. I'm too scared to use it, and I don't know what projects to use it in. I know what I want to do with it. I want to do thread painting, but I don't want to waste it. And yeah, so now I'm thinking, should I buy it? I can't afford a bump, but should I buy 10 kilos of 4-ply and do some dyeing again? I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted to do some, and then I can add it to kits as I'm putting them together. And again, the only reason I haven't done that is because I just haven't had the money to do so. But I'm thinking that maybe I should put that on my list of things to aim for. Save up the money to buy 10 kilos of 4-ply, but I will buy Australian this time. I know where I'm going to get it from. I've already sussed it all out. I've actually been there to the plant, to the mill. But I'm thinking, I need to get samples actually and see how they go. But I'm thinking instead of merino, I might get merino silk blend. But then that brings us back to the silk's not going to be grown in Australia, is it? I didn't think of that. Anyway, that's where I'm thinking at the moment. And yeah, I'm absolutely stoked to have finally been able to get my hands on some of this. I always miss out on fleurs, but this is just, if you haven't had any of this before, it is beautiful. It is so, it reminds me actually of the fibre that I used to sell. It's so soft and lofty, is that the right word? It's soft and squishy and full of air, and it's like little hand-dyed clouds in your hand. So if you ever get an opportunity to buy some of this from Little Woolly Makes, I highly recommend it. I haven't used it yet. I'm assuming it's going to be a great fibre to work with. It looks fabulous. It feels fabulous. I mean, when I say it looks fabulous, of course the colour's divine. The colours are amazing. I'm absolutely besotted with the colours. These are neon. I never had neon. I need to do some research to see if I can find some neon dyes, since my lady is no longer selling. The most popular brand in this country, I don't like it. I don't like the product. I've used it, I don't like it. It's full of fillers. Anyway, I don't even know if they stock those colours, but besides the point, apart from these colours being absolutely divine, this fibre looks and feels amazing. It's a very consistent looking fibre. It's very, oh, there's quite a few little ends hanging out there. It's, it just looks lovely. It's a beautiful looking fibre. So I'm assuming it's going to be wonderful to work with. You can see they've already been wound into little cakes. These are called cakes, and they've been tied off, so they look amazing. And I couldn't help myself. I got one out the other day to play with it, and I've ended up winding it into a little mini hank because I couldn't be bothered getting my winder out, and I didn't want to use, I was too lazy to use my Nostapine to manually wind another cake. So there you go. But apart from that, I'm still working on all my my needle books. This video's going for a long time, isn't it? That's going to all fall out of there onto the floor. I need to pull my finger out and get these done because I keep looking at them and nothing's getting done because I'm procrastinating about where to put what and how to do which. And so yeah, this, you know, remember this one, I'm still working on it. That's come out of it. That's come out of it. Where's the bit? Is it in here? I carry the zippered pouch I'm doing, I carry it with me when I go to appointments so I can stitch on it while I'm waiting, but it's progressing, and meetings, it's progressing very slowly. So I think for this, I think I only really need to do a little bit of needle weaving up into here and I'm done on that, and I just need to put it together. But I'm fluffing around like no tomorrow trying to get it done, procrastinating, overthinking it, doubting myself, all those sort of lovely things that we do as creatives. I think once I get the pouch finished and set in the needle book, the rest of it will fall into place, I think. That's usually what happens. So yeah, still working on that one. Oh goodness gracious, get myself together. Part of the issue is, well, big part of the issue is, I'm spending all my time doing the Destash. That takes up so much time, it's mental. That's actually a gift I bought my daughter and I've been using it. That's not very nice of me, is it? And of course, oh, so I was going to show you, I don't think I've shown you this. My friend gave me this, my friend. We're in the fire brigade together and she loves stitching as much as I do, and I showed her the needle books and she'd never seen them before. So she's amazing. She's not on social media, so I can't show you anything, but I might ask her if I can take some photos of some of the stuff. She might let me share. I showed her the needle books, and I think 3 or 4 days later we went to a meeting and she had 2 or 3 done that she'd completed, and I'm like, holy heck, how can you get that done already? And they're beautiful. They're absolutely, she's so talented, picks things up like that. I gifted her a spinning wheel a few years ago, and I showed her once how to do it. That night she sent me a photo. She'd already spun 4 skeins of fibre. She'd never spun before. I was flabbergasted. So yeah, that's how clever she is. She's just amazing. So a couple of weeks ago she walked into the meeting, and this was on 2 different occasions, or 3 these gifts, and she gifted me, this was the first gift. This came with a great big platter full of snacks and food and all sorts of things as well, but she gave me these bits of fabric. Oops. This one, and this one, and this lovely bit of silk ribbon that had a big cellophane around it. I think that was tied on top of it. And she gave me this beautiful, I haven't used it yet, I don't want to lose it or wreck it, but I've never seen them before. This needle threader, isn't it beautiful? So she gave me those. And then a couple of weeks later she turned up at the meeting and had this other little parcel for me that had some more fabrics, bits of fabric. Isn't that pretty? That one, there's 2 bits of that, I think, 2, 3, no more. So some of this, and then a bit of this one, and I'm pretty sure from memory she used these in her needle books. This one, they're linen blend, these, and I think she said these ones are recent spotlight ones. Look at that, isn't that one pretty? that one, and this one. Look at that, I like that one. So she gave me those, and that's not it. She also gave me, look at these. They're quite different to the ones I already had. She bought a bag of these from a lady on Marketplace, I think she said. And then straight away she's just shared them with me. Look at that. These are very different to the ones I've already got. They're all different. That's a Dewhurst Silco reel. They're like the ones I've got. But that's not original Silco, that's got something else on it. That's definitely not grass green. So that one's really interesting, I like that one. I like them all, I love them. This one, look at this. How cool is that? Now she bought these to do those stitch scrolls, you know those ones? I did a couple back in COVID with Anne Wood, I think it was. And then these two little, aren't they beautiful? So she gifted me all those. I need to gift her something back. I don't need to, but I'd like to. I should give her some of those fabrics, shouldn't I? Something. So yeah, she surprised me with those, which was lovely. And then of course, as you know, I've still got all these other needle books on the go. This one's so close to being finished, it's not funny. This is the little Japanese silk one, the kit that I got from Beck that I've added to, and it's gotten bigger than Ben-Hur. So I need to finish that. Maybe I should try and finish that tonight while I'm still not 100%. It's that one. This is another one I've started. Crikey. Beautiful piece of Tilda that I've been hand quilting. Look, there's another big page of yo-yos in there from Beck. They're beautiful. I've pulled together a really beautiful palette for that one. So there's those ones, and then of course I've also got, oops, that's not what I wanted. Now that vintage silk kit I just showed you from Beck in the salmony colour, these textiles are from the same kit, so I've split it into two needle books and pulled together a few more textiles to do that one. I started hand stitching that in a variegated, and I don't like it, so I started to undo it, and the silk started to disintegrate, so I'm going to leave that and finish that. But I've used two strands. I might cut down to one, and I don't know if I'll complete it with the variegated black and grey or just go black. But then where this seam is, I've decided to just do the quilt it crisscross like that, because it just wasn't doing it for me. So that one slowed right down. And then I've got this is from the same kit as the one I just showed you, these fabrics. That other one was a different kit. So I've pulled together more vintage textiles to do that kit, to do that needle book. And then I've got, there's some missing. I've got more than that. I've got about 13. This is a bit of fabric I bought from Beck some time ago. I sent some of this to my daughter, and I've got more puffs from Beck in there, but I think I've shown you this before, but it's so cool. I've got I put a bit of lace in there for that. It's a bit of fabric I dyed ages ago. I'm not convinced it's going to work, but I want to put this in it. This little mini apron with the coasters in it. I thought this was from the 70s. When I googled it, it's actually from the 60s. Look at that. Can you see how bright that is on the camera? I think, did I get that from Beck or did I get that from Thorpe's? Can't remember. I think that was from Beck's shop too. So don't have a huge amount of textiles in this one yet. There's some more yo-yos from Beck's. And I'm not entirely sure these are going to go in yet. They work though, don't they? They do work. Is that one of the same ones that came from Nairi? Maybe. They look familiar, don't they? Yeah, look. I'm sure that one of them was in there. How cool is that? Anyway. So yeah, I need to get these finished. I hate having them just sitting around. I need to make more time to do my stitching, don't I? Oh, here's another one. This is another Tilda that I've started, so I've pulled together some textiles for that one as well. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've definitely got more than 6. Oh, it's the big one, 7. I've definitely got more than 7. I don't know where the others are, but I do have more. I know I've got more. I've got either 9 or 13. I know they're two very different numbers, but I know I've got more than 7. But anyway, oh, one last thing. Crikey, this is going for ages, isn't it? I did drag something else out here to show you. I listed some vintage baby doodads the other day, and there's been no interest, which surprised me a bit. Because initially I thought that they'd be good for babies, you know, if you've got a child or a grandchild or a great-grandchild or whatever on the way. They're beautiful, these pieces. And it dawned on me last night, potentially you could use them in your textile art. I didn't think of that at the time, but I want to show you them because they're beautiful. So they're made out of, they're crocheted, they're hand crocheted. They don't appear to have been used. If they have their, oh, this, I just noticed there is a spot on this one. I couldn't see it before. They're in amazing condition. They're made from that, they used to call it, back in the day, they call it silk. My grandmother called it silk, but it's a rayon, a faux silk. So this is the first one, this little, I don't know, what would you call it, matinee jacket, cardigan, little white one. So I've got that one, and it has a matching bib. So these are bright white, white. Now I did notice originally there's a mark on the ribbon, but that can easily be replaced. It's just a taffeta ribbon. There's a mark on the end of it there. I haven't tried to wash these. I've left them as they came to me. But yeah, imagine using this in your textile work. I hadn't considered that before. And there's also a pair of matching booties. They've got, I can see them outside. I couldn't see it inside. They've got a mark on them too. But I've currently got them listed, but they're going to come down today. So if you're interested in these, hop on over to my Destash page at Gladys and Maud Unearthed, because they won't be there for much longer. But this next one is divine. It is absolutely stunning. and I'm tempted to keep this to use for something, but look, I'm trying to destash, guys. I need to get rid of stuff, and I don't have any grandchildren in my near future that I'm aware of, unless my son and his girlfriend decide to have one. But this is exquisite, this one. It's ivory. I cannot see any marks on this before. I don't think this has been worn. It is made out of that silk. Obviously it's a jacket, cardigan, matinee. It's a longer line one. I've got no idea what size it is. I mean, I could probably measure them if you're really interested. It's got obviously the 2 buttons down the front and a little tie around the neck with these tassels. The tassels are interesting how they've been made. Look at that. I mean, they're not really going to be very baby friendly, so I'd probably recommend, if you did buy it for a baby, to remove that. And it's threaded through the neckline, so it's not going to be hard to remove. It's just divine. The sleeves, it gets to a point here, and I think it's, I don't know, it's double crochet or something. It's thicker. The sleeve, I don't know if you can see the cuffs different. But look how beautiful it is. It reminds me of a, you know, a curtain in a theatre in the 20s or 30s or something. Look at that. Absolutely exquisite. And there's a matching bonnet, and this is divine. There's the crown, and it's got this cute little shell ruffle around the crown there. And then it's got this same very pretty shell stitch. Look at that. Look how lacy it is. And then the brim has got this cuff where it folds over, and again it's got that tassel. I'd be inclined, if I was going to put this on a baby, even if it's just for a christening or something, I'd be inclined to change these ribbons. I'd put either satin or silk satin probably, or velvet, not have these taffeta ones. So yeah, there's a mark on that ribbon, so it must have been used, but the rest of the, like, I cannot see any marks on that garment at all, or on the beanie, only on the ribbon. So that is absolutely divine, that one. The first set is the bright white. It's got the jacket, the bib and the booties. And this second set is the jacket and the beanie, the bonnet. And it's just beautiful, beautifully made, very delicate, lacy, very pretty. And yeah, as I said, they're on currently, look how they've done that. This person, how they've done that edge there is exquisite. It's beautiful. It's just beautifully constructed. They both are. So yeah, as I said, if that's something that you might like, it's currently over on my Destash page at Gladys and Maud Unearthed on Instagram. I'm taking them down later today because it's the end of this upload, this Destash period, and when I wind up and send out the end of it, I take everything down because it just gets too difficult to follow along with. But that doesn't mean you can't still ask me about them. If it's something that you're really interested in, and you can't see it there, send me a DM and I'll let you know if I've still got it. Obviously, currently, in this moment, I do. But I'm going to go, guys, because you're probably absolutely sick and tired of me rambling on and on and on and on. I'm always stunned at how many of you enjoy listening to me go on and on and on and on for hours on end. But I just wanted to hop on because I haven't been able to get on much lately for many various reasons. And yeah, update you on some of the things that I've got available, some of the things I've been doing, making ideas, you know what I'm talking about. So I always say that I'll upload anything that I've mentioned, I'll you know, tag any pages that I talk about in the information tab after I've uploaded the video. And lately I've been either forgetting to do that or running out of time. So if I haven't done that, and if there's any information you want in the days to come, or weeks or months, whatever, just send me a message and I'll let you know. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm juggling a lot of things at the moment. I don't know if I've mentioned, apart from me being sick this week with these teeth and these infections and whatnot, my dad went into hospital on, I think it was Tuesday, for a knee replacement that he was supposed to have Wednesday. They did the bloods on him again on Tuesday when he was admitted, and they'd done them last week and everything was within range. And on Tuesday his hemoglobin was too low, so they had to postpone his surgery so they could obtain his blood type. Since they don't know his blood type, they're not able to establish what his blood type is because of the illness he has. It's just impossible to establish. They have to give him AB negative, so apparently there's not much of it around at the moment, so they had to wait to get some in. They got in 6 units, so they operated on Thursday. He has so far had 7 units, and as of this morning his levels were lower than before the surgery, before the 7 units. So they're now sourcing more units of AB negative to give him. He's had a bad reaction overnight. I think he's having an allergic reaction to one of his pain meds. So does my sister. But the hospital doesn't think so. And look, I know they're professionals. I know they know what they're doing. However, I also know our family history. I also know, and so does my sister. And my sister's actually an RN as well. We also know how we all react to certain medications, and although he hasn't had this reaction before, he hasn't had this medication before, but he's having the same reaction that my sister does. So we're thinking that he's having an allergic reaction to it. But anyway, we've informed the hospital and they know that now, so they can monitor it. As long as he doesn't have, another hypoxic episode, which I guess if he does, he's in the right place. I get a bit anxious about it, only because my mum was in the same hospital having the same surgery done about 5 years ago and went into cardiac arrest in recovery. So, and that ended up being as a result of her being on the incorrect medication. So yeah, I get a bit anxious. I still haven't been to see him because I'm not 100% sure that what I think is a sinus/tooth infection, I'm not 100% sure it's not a head cold / something that could potentially be contagious. So I've been trying to stay away from him. Obviously with his lymphoma and other illnesses, he's immunocompromised, and you know, having the transfusions would make him immunocompromised as well, I'd imagine. So I haven't been in to see him. Most of the rest of the family has, so I'm feeling a little bit bummed that I haven't been able to. He was heavily medicated this morning because he was in so much pain last night. He was actually having hallucinations and didn't have a good time. So he's heavily medicated on pain relief and sedatives today. So that's another reason I haven't been in to see him today. And apart from that, I don't have a car, so I have to rely on someone giving me a lift. But anyway, that's what some of the things that have been going on. Of course, there's been a lot more happening, and yeah, Another reason I haven't been doing the videos is because we've had almost non-stop rain for weeks, months even. Torrential rain, and the lighting in my house isn't sufficient to do recordings. So I try and do them outside, and it's impossible to do it when it's raining. But anyway, there's all that. I can't remember what else I was going to say. I think I've covered everything. If you'd like to know anything, send me a message. If I forget to upload information, send me a message if there's something you want to know. As I said, that those baby sets are currently on my Destash page, but they won't be there for much longer because I'm cleaning it up for the next upload, the next drop. But if you're interested in them, send me a message. The same as those pieces of cutter quilt that I shared earlier, they're available. I think that's it. Again, if I've missed anything, which I probably have because my head's full of stuff at the moment, just send me a message, and it might take me a couple of days to see it because I'm not always getting the notifications. So I've got to physically go through checking all the messages on all my socials. So if you don't hear from me, don't stress. I will get to you. Yeah, I think that's it. The only other thing I think I wanted to say was I apologise. I started doing some tutorials, some series, and I haven't finished those, and I'm so sorry. That was not my intention. It's just been crazy, as I said. I just haven't been able to get them done. So, and I haven't had the headspace either. Been sick on and off and stressing about stuff. You know what it's like. I just haven't had the headspace to do it. So I apologise sincerely. That was not my intention at all. I'm starting to get a sore throat now. Probably because the weather's dropped so much while I've been sitting here. Maybe because I've been talking too much too. But anyway, I hope you're all well. I really do. I sincerely hope you're all well. And I hope you're having a good weekend. Oh, here I am. I'm chatting away. I'm talking at the phone. It's like at my chin level, at my lip level. And I just looked down, there's a great big spider about 2 inches away from my face. So I've just removed him over to the flower pot there. Sorry, I was distracted. Now that I'm leaving, that happens every time. Now that I'm leaving, I've lost another earring. Man, that frustrates me. Geez, I've been losing a lot of earrings lately. Now that I'm leaving, everyone's hopping on. There's more and more people hopping on to see what I'm up to. I'm not going to pull more stuff out, guys. I'll go. I'm going to go. I'll say goodbye. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you're well. Have a great weekend. Be safe. What do I say? Be safe. Make good choices. And I'll see you next time. Thank you again.